Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to use and place 3D holes. So before I even get started with the hole feature, the first thing I got to do is I got to get a 3D object in which I can place some holes into. So I'm going to use my rectangle tool and I'm going to draw a 2" by 2" square. I'm going to come up to 3D model and I'm going to extrude that square 2 inches. Click OK. So here's my 3D cube. Next, to get to the hole feature, it's located under the 3D model tab, and it's located right here. When you click on it, there's going to be several different options that you can do as far as holes go. It depends on what you're trying to replicate or what you're trying to draw. So make sure that you get clarification from your teacher. But I'm real quickly just going to run you through the different options in this window. I know it can kind of look overwhelming. The first thing we're going to start with is right here, this vertical column. These are your 4 main different types of holes that you can have. So if you click on it and hover over the little icon, it will tell you what that hole is. So this is just a drilled hole. The second one down, this is called a counterbore hole. The third one is a spot face hole. And the fourth one down is a countersink hole. Okay, so those are your 4 options. And depending on which one of these you choose, you're going to get some different settings and adjustments that you can play around with over here. Okay, so that's kind of the top half of the window. Now this bottom or middle part of the window right here, you can choose how you want the drill or the end of the hole to look like. So you can have a flat hole, okay, that you could put maybe a bolt into, or if you're drilling it with a drill bit, typically at the bottom of a drill bit there's a little point, so that would give you a little bit more room depending on what you're trying to do. So you can have a flat bottom hole or you can have an angled hole. Okay, over here, the termination, this is where you're essentially going to determine where your hole is going to end. So if you click this little drop-down window, you have 3 choices. You have distance. So you can set the distance, or essentially the depth of the hole that you want. So if you only want it to go 1 inch, you would select distance, and then you would change that to 1 inch. The middle option here, the second one, is through all. This is just going to put the hole all the way through whatever object you were working on. It's going to go from one side all the way through to the other. The third one down is not used all that often, and this is called to. This is where you might specify, let's say that you wanted this hole to go directly to the center of the cube, and you had something located right in the center of the cube, and that's how far you wanted the hole to go. This is used to get really specific. Okay, so those are essentially your depths or distances. The last menu down here, these are the different styles of think about the inside of the hole. Okay, so this first option right here, this is just a simple hole. Okay, basic hole. Second one, once I click on this, you notice I get more drop-down menus and different options down here. This hole is called a clearance hole. The third one over, this is called a tapped hole. This one will have threads in it. Okay, so you could thread a bolt into this hole. The fourth one, this is going to be a tapered tapped hole. Okay, so it's going to have threads, but it's going to taper as you go down. The last thing in this menu is where you want your holes to be placed, which is right up here in the top left corner from this drop-down menu. If you click on this, you have a couple of different options. You can start placing holes. One of the options is from sketch. So if you had a circle that you sketched out on one of the sides of the cube and you wanted to make that circle your hole, this is where you would use the from sketch option. Since I don't have anything sketched out and I'm just going to randomly place these holes, I am going to need to use what's called the linear placement, where I'm just going to click and place these wherever I need them. Okay, so I'm going to do a drilled simple hole. and I'm going to change the depth of it to 1.5 inches, and it's going to have a diameter of 0.5 or 1/2 of an inch. So now I'm just going to click on the cube and click apply, and there is my circle. Okay, it is 1/2 inch diameter, and if you notice, it does not go all the way through to the other side. It only goes down a distance of 1.5 inches. Now let's say I wanted that hole to go all the way through. Well, I'm going to come down here to my termination, and I'm going to select through all. If you notice, it took that depth distance away. So same thing, I'm just going to click over here, click apply, and if you notice, that one does go all the way through right out the back of the hole. Okay, that goes all the way through the object. The next one I'm going to show you, which is pretty common, is a countersink hole that has threads on it. Okay, so I'm going to do countersink, and I'm going to come on down here and I'm going to click tapped hole for my threads. And these presets up here, they're all pretty good. Down here I'm going to bump up the size a little bit. Let's go, yeah, we'll stick with a 1/2 inch hole. Okay, so now I can click over here, click apply. Countersink diameter must be greater than the hole diameter. Okay, so we're going to bump this up to 0.6, click apply, and if I zoom in here, get this out of my way, there you can see that's my countersink hole, and if I zoom in, these are the threads of the hole. Okay, and that one does go all the way through. If you notice though, the threads, they don't go all the way through that hole. They kind of stop halfway. That is a setting that I forgot to change. So if I go back to hole, okay, these are all the settings that I just did. If you notice right here, these threads are only going to go down the first inch. So if I want them to go all the way down, the cube's 2 inches deep, I'm going to change that to 2. With my linear option, I'm going to click on the cube, click apply, and now I have a hole where my threads go all the way through the hole, all the way down to the other side.